If you are an INFP like me, it's probably very important for you to know the right path, to choose the right career. And most of the time we end up feeling frustrated because we don't really know what to do. We end up feeling lost in this corporate world, and it can be pretty hard. And today, after a lot of reflection, a lot of time, I can finally say that I feel I'm on the right path for my life. But it's not always been the case. So I just want to share with you my experience because I think it can be very helpful. The things I wish I knew before, all the advice, all the mistakes I made. So if you're really struggling to know what to do with your life, if you don't know what to decide, I hope this video will be helpful and that you will find some value in it. Hey guys, I'm Michael. Thank you for being here. Welcome on my channel where I share every week my personal discoveries about my journey and my life, because as an INFP, I'm very interested in personal development, and so I'm very aware of all the challenges that INFPs might have. So I'm just sharing what I discover and how we can overcome together our challenges and how we can live a better life. So if that's something you want to be a part of, feel free to subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell to be notified every time I post a video every week. First, I want to share my story with you to see what I've been through, to see where I come from. And then I will talk about, the mistakes I've made, the things I wish I knew, and the potential careers that are a good fit for INFPs. So hopefully by the end of this video, you will have more clarity around choosing your right path and around choosing what's good for you as an INFP. So about my story. I remember when I first started to think about my career and what I wanted to do with my life. It was in high school when we had to choose what kind of education we were going to follow after high school. And in high school I was good with science, with mathematics. I also liked to write, but nothing really stood out. So I was a bit confused concerning what to choose next, what to do next with my life. So because I was good in school, I had good grades, the logical choice was to pursue a scientific career, and the one that will open me most doors, So I thought about it in terms of good job, a good position, good salary, because I wasn't really aware of what I wanted to do with my life. For me, it was too soon to decide. So I did 2 years in a preparation school for an engineering school, and it was very intensive. It was a lot of math, physics, and science, and it was really 2 years of my life where I really worked a lot. And then at the end of these 2 years, I had a choice to take the tests to enter engineer schools. And again, I was not really sure. I remember at the time I hesitated between computer science and mechanics. And finally, I was accepted in a school to do with mechanical engineering. So again, same story. I was good with grades. I graduated, and then I started to look for a job straight away. I worked for 2 years in a consulting company who were hiring mechanical engineers. So I've worked on projects about mechanical design, mechanical systems, and for 2 years I did that in several companies, like switching clients very often. Then I got hired by one of those companies, and I ended up working in this company for almost 3 years, and it was an offshore company. And in this company it was again mechanical engineering. So I was, really, I was playing the game of society, having a job, earning money. I had my apartment, and I was starting to think, is this really what life's about? At the end, I remember waking up in the morning and really dreading to go to work. I got to a point where I couldn't stand it anymore, and mainly it was because the values of the company were the complete opposite of mine. Like, it was not people oriented, it was profit oriented. The field that I was working on was not resonating at all, because it was in an offshore company like oil and gas. So for the environment, it's kind of a disaster. I didn't feel useful, you know, I didn't feel like my life had meaning. Obviously, what happened is that after 2.5 years, I quit my job. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was thinking maybe going back to school and going back to computer science. But it meant going back to a 9 to 5, going back to school for maybe 2 years. So I was not sure. So the thing that I was sure about is that I didn't want to work in this company anymore. So I just quit. And I started to think about myself. I started to, really turn inward and explore. And a really good way to do that is by traveling, I figured. So I went traveling for 1 year in New Zealand. And during this year, it was really amazing to see how simple life can be. I did some really simple jobs, like just helping people, in farms, painting their house, helping with the children. And so, really helping people and bringing value to these people's life. I figured that's something that I quite liked. And I discovered the freedom as well, being able to go wherever you want. So it has been a year where I reflected a lot about what I wanted to do with my life. This is basically the year where I discovered personal growth. It was something that really resonated with me. So I remember while I was working in a cherry factory, listening to a lot of podcasts. And I started to pay attention about what I liked and what I didn't like. Because before I was just rejecting all these ideas about what I like, what I don't like. I was just thinking, I need to work, I need a job, I need to build my career, to buy a house, to find a wife and have kids. For me, it was the only way of thinking. And so the very turning point was when I started to question all about this and really think about what I cared about. So then came the time when I had to go back to France. So after 1 year in New Zealand, it was kind of strange, but I was determined to do what I wanted, to find what made me resonate. And I knew what I didn't want, so I started to explore, really use our extroverted intuition to find out what could resonate with me. Because this experience in these past years, I really was able to know what I didn't want, what I didn't like. And it was kind of confusing, but also exciting. And that's when I discovered the kind of online business world. And I started to build my own company. I tried to build my own business about really helping people build the life they want to live, the life they deserve, a meaningful life, as I was trying to do. But it was a lot of marketing, it was based on an affiliate program. So I was resonating with parts of this, but not everything. And then I was getting better about noticing my interest and noticing what I liked, and most importantly, why I liked this. I was trying to connect the dots, and naturally I ended up interested in psychology. And I was very frustrated because it would mean that if I wanted to go into psychology, I would probably need to study for another 5 years. But then I came across a training from Marisa Peer that allows us to be therapists in rapid transformations. And since then, I really feel like it's what I want to do. Like, it has all the criteria. It allows me to help people. It aligns with my values, with my principles. It allows me to be creative, to organize my schedule on my own terms. So it's kind of ticking all the boxes. So I've been really thinking about all of this, thinking about is this the real path for me, trying to see what I've liked in the past, examining what I've liked recently. For example, I've always liked to teach. When I was in my engineering school, to earn more money, I was giving lessons, so I was a teacher, and I really enjoyed it. So that's my journey. I feel pretty confident about the path where I'm right now. And you know, I'm currently unemployed, but I'm more aligned than when I was working. I have this YouTube channel, I am training to be a therapist, and soon, like in 1 month or so, I will find a new job, but you know, just a basic jobs, maybe being a waiter, to have contact with people and to improve my social skills. But just knowing that I have a bigger project on the side. And what's funny is that I kind of came to the conclusion that I wanted to go into the path of psychology, and that's after that I discovered the MBTI system, and that I found that for INFPs, counseling and therapy is a really suitable path. Now I want to quickly reflect on my experience and extract some of the biggest mistakes I've made that I wish I knew before, and the advice that I could give you. So the biggest mistake was really following the wrong path and not asking myself questions, because deep down I knew I didn't like, you know, working as an engineer, like being in a cubicle all day. But it was so natural to, you know, work for society, have a career, and all the stereotypes, that I was like discarding these feelings. So I made the mistake of following, you know, a good position, a good salary, like a good job, without really thinking that it applies to my values. That's what I don't like with the system, is that they force us to choose something for the rest of our lives when we are 18, and we are not very clear on our values. It's not very articulate. So my advice would be really try to think about what you care about, and not especially about society, because you want to have a job that you feel is useful, that you feel is authentic to you, especially for INFPs. The second mistake I've made is that, you know, as INFPs, we really try to figure out before experiencing things what feels right to us. You know, we want to feel it before, and then we explore, then we experience it. But sometimes it can be a trap, because I remember in New Zealand I was a lot of interest. Like I started to do programming again, and I was trying to figure out if it was the right path for me. Like when I will come back in France, will I enjoy being a programming, making it my career? And I was really thinking about it, and I've lost a lot of time thinking about it instead of just trying. And the moment I started to try and really experience it, then I could say, okay, that's not for me, I need something more. And so it's the trap we can be in sometimes, like really trying to figure out things, what feels right for us, without even experiencing it. So I feel it's like a balance. We won't know if it's right for us if we don't try it. So if you have a feeling about something, like you feel not 100% that it's right, but you know it can be right for you, you have to try. So of course it can be hard when we have to take decisions that will imply the 5 next years, but there are always ways to, you know, experience it a little, or maybe do an internship, or ask someone, you know. Now, based on my experience, my mistakes, and my journey, and also about the research that I've been doing about INFPs, I want to give you the best INFP careers that I've found, you know, the one that are most suitable for us. So it's obviously a career when it aligns with your values, when you can be creative. So a lot of the time it will imply working with people. You know, we are very good with one-on-one interaction, really listening to people, really showing empathy. Another important point also is that we must have the freedom to think by ourselves. We don't really like rules and very competitive environments. We need to have the time to process our thoughts. So it will mean that careers such as musician, artist, graphic designer, social researcher, psychologist, counselor, working in human resources, coaching, teaching. I will put a link down below in the description towards the careers that are the best for INFPs. But yeah, and you want also to avoid careers where it's too rigid, you know, where we have too many rules, where it's highly competitive, where it's not oriented towards people, where it has no meaning for you, where it doesn't align with your values. The main advice I can give to you, and the advice I would like to give to my, let's say, 18 years old self, is that really what's important for us is the authenticity, you know, the meaning. Like if we're in a job where it's just for the paycheck and it doesn't align with our values, we don't feel useful, we don't feel of service, it will not end very well. So even if you don't know what it is, try to follow something that speaks to you, to your core, and don't think about society, don't think about what the world wants, what your parents want, what your peers want. So focus on what you want. And another important advice is you can't figure out things by just thinking, you know, you have to experience it. So it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to go to the wrong path, because even if you go to the wrong path, it will get you closer to the right path. So that's it, guys. I really hope sharing my experience with you will be helpful, because I know it's something that took me a lot of energy and a lot of time. So if I can share this with you and if it can be helpful for you, it's already really good, because I know how frustrating it can be and how lost we can feel. So let me know in the comments if it is useful. Let me know if you want to know something more, if you want to discuss something more, if you want any more advice, if you have something you hesitate about, just let me know. I will be more than happy to help you with that and to discuss it. With that being said, guys, thanks a lot for watching, for being here. A small community is starting to form around INFPs and around people like us who are struggling with the same challenges. So it's really, it means a lot to me if we can help each other and grow together. So thanks again for watching, and I wish you all a great day. Bye guys, and see you in the next video.